Want to speak real Thai from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at ThaiPod101.com.
Hello guys, welcome back. I'm Jay, and today we are going to do top 10 hardest words to pronounce. Let's begin. กรุงเทพมหานคร Bangkok กรุงเทพมหานคร If you go to Thailand and you hear people talk about Bangkok, they will say กรุงเทพ because like conversation wise it's easier to pronounce like that กรุงเทพ but a longer name is กรุงเทพมหานคร But do you know that the real name of Bangkok is actually the longest city name in the world? Even for Thai, it's very difficult to remember the whole name. So, the whole name of Bangkok is กรุงเทพมหานคร อมรรัตนโกสินทร์มหินทรายุทธยามหาดิลก พบนพรัตน์ราชธานีบุรีรมอุดม ราชนิเวศมหาสถาน อมรพิมานอวตารสถิต สกทัตติยะวิษณุกรรมประสิทธิ์ Yay! It's like I was rapping. ข้าวขาว white rice. One is like higher than another. So ข้าวขาว means white rice. The rice that we eat. That's called ข้าวขาว ข้าว means rice and ขาว means white. So together it's like white rice. ข้าวขาว ควาย buffalo. In Thailand there are a lot of buffaloes in rural areas, but it looks very different from those in the States. Like in the States, if you're talking about buffaloes, it's more of like a bigger, like more hairy, like hairy creatures, you see. But Thai buffaloes look very different. Like they are hairless, smaller in size. You can see a lot of that in Thailand. ตัดทอน reduce. Actually, the first word ตัด meaning cut is like cut down something. So ตัดทอน means reduce. But it's quite formal. So for me, I don't really use this word myself. Like personally, I don't really use this word. But you can see it in the documents, news. So ตัดทอน reduce. ทฤษฎี theory. In Thai is ทฤษฎี. Okay, to tell you a secret, even I don't pronounce this word properly when I talk because it's very difficult to pronounce it like correctly. In daily life, I just say ทฤษฎี ทฤษฎี but it's wrong though. So the correct way of pronouncing this is ทฤษฎี ประพฤติ behave ประพฤติ behave. Let's practice again. ประพฤติ pra and then plut like L sound within the word. So it's like pra, plut. รุนแรง violent. รุนแรง violent. The only difficult part is you have to click your tongue while you're speaking like r. You can try r, 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 like that. And then when you use it, when you form a word, it would be รุนแรง รุนแรง อร่อย delicious. So อร่อย 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 and you say it faster อร่อย but don't confuse this word to what which is อะไร for me I have a foreigner friend and I always ask him to pronounce this sentence which is everything is delicious อะไรอะไรก็อร่อย อะไร is what like whatever you eat is delicious. So อะไรอะไรก็อร่อย โรงเรียน โรงเรียน school same as what I have taught you so far. So ร sound โรงเรียน and say it faster โรงเรียน that's school ง่าย easy ง่าย meaning easy like thinking of singing the ng sound you use that sound in front of the word ง่าย ง่าย is it easy ง่ายไหม I don't think it is but is a good word to learn. Now we are done with the lesson. How many can you actually pronounce? I know it's difficult. Even for me, it's difficult. So don't be discouraged by this lesson. Just try practice it. But anyway, okay, thank you for watching. And don't forget to subscribe our channel. See you next time. Bye.
For some, learning a new language seems to come naturally. For others, the entire process feels more like a tooth and nail struggle. However, if you've had a negative experience learning a new language at one point in time, don't let that discourage you from trying again. The truth is that learning any language is never easy, but it's definitely possible. Sometimes the difference between success and failure has less to do with your abilities or talents and a lot more to do with the way you look at things. In this video, we're going to look at how to avoid 5 serious mistakes made by new language learners. Number 1. Listen before you speak. Being slow to speak and quick to listen is good life advice, whether or not you're learning a foreign language. Effective listening is essential to communication. As a beginner, there is a tendency to concentrate so much on what you're going to say and how you're going to say it that you can completely miss the meaning or heart of what the other person is trying to communicate. Not only will this impair your ability to listen in your target language, it will also stall what little conversation you had going. Remember that conversations are a two-way street. If you're speaking more than listening, then you actually have more of a monologue on your hands than a dialogue. The inputs of language learning, listening and reading, are just as important as the outputs, speaking and writing. For a beginner, inputs are even more crucial, as they are the main way you acquire new vocabulary. We even go so far to say that for new students, the best method for learning involves more listening than it does speaking, though that may change with higher proficiency levels. Number 2, don't be embarrassed when you do speak. People's next mistake usually comes from the other side of the spectrum, where new learners are too scared or embarrassed to contribute to a conversation. The fear of making mistakes and embarrassing yourself can paralyze your language learning. It's vital to remember that everyone makes mistakes. Even native speakers had to find their way through the language when they were children. Making mistakes while learning a new language is inevitable, but it's also a good thing. The faster you make mistakes, the quicker you can correct them and move on with your learning. So instead of being afraid to make mistakes, try looking at them as steps towards progress. In reality, that's what they really are. Number 3, don't fixate on minor issues. If taken in all at once, a new language can feel overwhelming to learn. It's so easy to get discouraged by all your little mistakes and conversational mishaps, and you lose sight of the progress you're making. In addition to mistakes, you'll also come across plateaus, where you study and practice consistently but don't see any results for a significant amount of time. But whether you face errors or plateaus, remember that these things are minor obstacles on the road to fluency. The most important thing is not to give up. Stick with it. If you stay persistent, your mistakes will be corrected and your abilities will improve. But if you slow down or throw in the towel completely, then you'll either subvert your progress or nix it altogether. So remember that as long as you're still studying and learning the language, you can't lose. It might feel like you're losing the battle for language learning for a little while, but hang in there. A practical way to help you stay motivated is to make small weekly goals. Research shows that goal setting has a significant impact on learning. Try picking one aspect of grammar or a collection of new words or phrases to study for the next 7 days. At the end of the week, check your progress and measure your success. Setting little benchmarks like this will give you a rightful sense of accomplishment. Number 4, remember that immersion isn't magical. A lot of people think that by moving to a foreign country, they will learn the language by osmosis. But whether you learn abroad or at home, you still need to study and practice the language. Living in a new country gives you way more opportunities to do this than staying at home. But if you don't consciously take advantage of these opportunities while living abroad, it won't benefit your language learning. If you're an expat living in a foreign country, there's a natural inclination to hang out around other expats. Learning a language and living in a foreign culture is hard and uncomfortable. For better or worse, we're often drawn to the easier road. If you made the decision to study abroad, then you want to hang out with native-speaking people as much as possible. You have the rest of your life to be with people who speak your language. This doesn't mean ignore your expat friends. Just be sure that you're giving proper attention to your language learning. Languages are better lived than they are learned. Number 5, be open-minded. Languages are better lived than they are learned. When learning a new language, your brain will want to conform the new grammar and vocabulary to your native language norms and grammar rules. Ignore your brain on this one. At first, you might feel completely wrong saying a sentence that is in fact correct. After a certain point in language learning, there is a switch that goes off, when your brain finally realizes that you're not speaking your native language, but a new one altogether. This could take a while though, especially if this is your first time learning a new language. Until then, do what you know is correct, even if it feels a bit weird when you say it. The same goes for culture. Just as you want to be open to the differences in the language, don't forget to be open to the differences in the culture too. Hopefully this video helped you shift your thinking and approach language learning in a way that will help you become fluent faster. And that you'll learn to enjoy the journey towards fluency and savor the language for its own sake. That's probably the biggest language learning secret there is. And for even more ways to get started learning a new language, check out our complete language learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Get tons of resources to have you speaking in your target language. And if you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye!
Hello guys, I'm Jay, and today we are going to do 10 phrases to amaze native speakers. So if you want to amaze native speakers, you have to watch this lesson. Okay, let's begin. ขอบคุณแต่จริงๆแล้วฉันไม่ได้เป็นเจ้าของภาษาหรอก Thank you, but I'm not a native speaker actually. ขอบคุณแต่จริงๆฉันไม่ใช่เจ้าของภาษาหรอก Thank you, but I'm not a native speaker actually. To say this sentence, like someone might have probably complimented you on your Thai, and you got to say this sentence, meaning that your Thai must be very good. ฉันจำคำศัพท์ภาษาไทยใหม่ๆได้ประมาณวันละ50 คำ I can memorize around 50 new Thai words a day. ฉันจำคำศัพท์ภาษาไทยใหม่ๆได้ประมาณวันละ50 คำ. I can memorize around 50 new Thai words a day. Seriously? Really? Can anyone do that?
No.
If you try, who knows? ฉันจำคำศัพท์ภาษาไทยใหม่ๆได้ประมาณวันละ10 คำ. 10 is 10, like 10 words. I can memorize around 10 new Thai words a day. Maybe that's more practical. ฉันดูหนังไทยได้โดยไม่ต้องมีซับไตเติล. I can watch Thai movies without subtitles. ฉันดูหนังไทยได้โดยไม่ต้องมีซับไตเติล. I can watch Thai movies without subtitles. Yeah. Like there are a lot of good Thai movies in Thailand, like mostly action movies. Do you know Tony Jaa? I think he's quite famous abroad. I'm not sure if you have watched his movie, but like his movies are pretty good. You should try, find and watch. And it's a good way to learn Thai. ฉันเข้าใจที่เธอพูดทุกอย่างดี. I completely understood everything you said. ฉันเข้าใจที่เธอพูดทุกอย่างดี. I completely understood everything you said. ฉันเรียนภาษาไทยด้วยตัวเองหมดเลย. I'm learning Thai all by myself. ฉันเรียนภาษาไทยด้วยตัวเองหมดเลย. I'm learning Thai all by myself. It's very impressive. Like for me to learn English or to learn other languages, I need to go to classes. But if you can learn it by yourself, like of course everyone will be impressed. ฉันเรียนภาษาไทยมา10 ปีแล้ว. I have been learning Thai for 10 years. ฉันเรียนภาษาไทยมา10 ปีแล้ว. I have been learning Thai for 10 years. If you have been learning Thai for 10 years, I guess your Thai must be very good. Like, must be very good, like 10 years. I have known some foreigners who learn Thai like 5 to 10 years, and their Thai is like equally as good as me. It's a long time, and if you like Thai language, then you can master it. นอกจากจะรู้ภาษาไทยแล้ว ฉันยังพูดภาษาอื่นๆได้ด้วยนะ. Apart from knowing Thai, I can speak a few other languages as well. นอกจากจะรู้ภาษาไทยแล้ว ฉันยังพูดภาษาอื่นๆได้ด้วยนะ. Apart from knowing Thai, I can speak a few other languages as well. If you learn Thai, if you know Thai, One language that you definitely be able to understand is Laos. Like Laos language is very close to Thai. Like for me, I have never learned Laos before, but because I'm a native Thai, when Laos people talk, I kind of understand 60 to 70% of what they're talking or writing. ผมจะพูดภาษาไทยให้ได้เหมือนเจ้าของภาษาภายใน3 ปี I'll speak Thai like a native speaker in 3 years. ผมจะพูดภาษาไทยให้ได้เหมือนเจ้าของภาษาภายใน3 ปี I'll speak Thai like a native speaker in 3 years. This is a determination. Seriously. 3 years, and then you can achieve that. I mean, if you're very determined to succeed. ภาษาไทยทั้งสนุกทั้งง่าย Thai is fun and easy to learn. ภาษาไทยทั้งสนุกทั้งง่าย Thai is fun and easy to learn. แค่ปีเดียวฉันก็คล่องแล้ว It took me only 1 year to be fluent. แค่ปีเดียวฉันก็คล่องแล้ว It took me only 1 year to become fluent. If you can do this, I think everyone will be impressed. Their sentence sound difficult because it's difficult to be fluent in any language at all. But I have seen someone who can be fluent in a language in a year. I mean, I think it's achievable. So, I mean, just keep trying. Okay, we are done for today. Today we have done 10 phrases to amaze native speakers. Now you guys know how to impress and amaze Thai people already. Anyway, thank you for watching me, and please don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.
So, you decided to learn a new language. At first, the idea seemed exciting. You bought a phrasebook, dictionary, and a subscription to an online class, ready to dive headfirst into the language. For the first day or two, all was well. You gained ground quickly, learning a few basic phrases and words. A week before, learning that language was just a dream, but now you're actually doing it. Then, the third and fourth day roll around. The excitement is wearing off. You encouraged yourself to continue, and another week or two goes by, but with a lot less progress. Suddenly, learning a new language doesn't fill you with excitement anymore. Now it feels more like dread. Sometimes it feels like you're drowning in grammatical cases, verb conjugations, and wonky pronunciation. It all seems too much to handle, so you start to think about giving up. But we encourage you not to give up. Learning a foreign language is difficult. We won't pretend like it isn't. But that doesn't mean you can't do it. Sometimes you just need to take a step back, reevaluate your approach, and come back to the language with a different perspective. In this video, we'll look at 4 tips for when learning a new language feels overwhelming. Number 1, set aside a designated study time. Consistency is key when learning a foreign language. Studying 15 minutes 7 days a week will benefit you more than cramming in 2 hours 1 day a week. Set aside an amount of time that works best for you. If you can afford to spend an hour every day learning, that's awesome. Go for it. But don't feel bad if you can't spend that much time. Even 10 or 15 minutes a day goes a long way. Breaking up your learning into manageable time segments will relieve a lot of the stress that can come with studying a new language. Learning is not a race. Go at your own pace and try not to compare your progress with anyone else's. Number 2, take it one bite at a time. Now that you have your schedule under control, it's time to focus on what you'll actually be studying. It's recommended that every 1 to 2 weeks you focus on learning a very specific piece of the language. It could be a conjugation group, a case, tense, or a collection of theme vocabulary. Whatever you choose, hone in on it and do your best to feel comfortable with it before you move on to something else. Ever heard the saying, "How do you eat an elephant?" Focusing on one thing at a time helps you break the language into digestible chunks. Number 3, expose yourself to the language in different ways. Don't just sit around reading about grammar all day. Obviously, knowledge of grammar is important, but you want to spice up your practice as much as possible. In addition to grammatical study, try to mix in a combination of reading, writing, speaking, and listening. Try to practice reading by either translating a simple article into your native language, or maybe if you're a beginner, pick up a children's book in your target language. For writing, you can try to write out a fictional conversation between you and yourself even. Use the phrases you know to create a mock conversation, and don't use any words you can't think of or you don't remember. To practice speaking, you can find native speakers locally at a language club or at a meetup. You can also find them online in a language exchange. For listening, a great podcast should do the trick. Spread out each type of practice, listening, reading, speaking, and writing, across your regular language study schedule. This will give you a balanced experience in the language and should help keep things interesting. This method also works well when you use it to focus on a single aspect of the language like we talked about above. Number 4, set mini goals, not just big ones. If your only language learning goal is to be fluent, you're likely setting yourself up for disappointment. While speaking fluently can be your ultimate goal, it shouldn't be your only one. Try to set mini goals month by month and week by week. It could be something simple. Learn 20 new verbs, practice a new case, or speak with 3 native speakers. As long as it's specific and reasonable to achieve in a shorter amount of time, it should work fine. Not having mini goals alongside your ultimate goal is a lot like sprinting across a huge open field. There's no reference point, so for much of the time it feels like you're not any closer to your goal. It's not that you're not moving forward, it just feels like you're not. Without any trees or buildings to run past, it seems like you're running in place. Mini goals are like the trees and buildings of your language race. They help you see that you're moving forward and give you a sense of accomplishment. The desire for perfection can get in the way of your progress. Don't freak out when you struggle to speak or make a mistake. It's all a part of the learning process. Also, don't be afraid to speak, even if you know what you'll say won't be totally correct. It's better to do your best to communicate in the language and get it wrong than to never try at all. Learning a new language isn't always easy. In fact, oftentimes it's very hard. Don't let that discourage you, though. Use these tips to help keep you focused yet unstressed in your language learning. A little perseverance will go a long way. Before long, you'll be speaking better than you may have thought was possible. And for even more help learning a new language without getting overwhelmed, check out our complete language learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Get tons of resources to have you speaking in your target language. And if you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye!
Hello guys! Welcome back. I'm Jay, and today we are doing 9 phrases that make you look like a fool. Let's begin. คุณไม่ค่อยฉลาดเลย You're not very smart. คุณไม่ค่อยฉลาดเลย You're not very smart. Cruel words. คุณไม่มีทางจะประสบความสำเร็จ You will never succeed. คุณไม่มีทางจะประสบความสำเร็จ Even though they said don't be discouraged by like these words, then you will succeed. That's what I believe. ฉันถูก คุณผิด I'm right and you are wrong. Normally I don't say this, but when I get angry I say this. Anyway, I'm right, you're wrong. ฉันถูก คุณผิด ฉันรู้ทุกอย่าง I know everything. ฉันรู้ทุกอย่าง I know everything. Do you know everything? I don't think anyone will know everything. ฉันไม่จำเป็นต้องเรียนรู้อะไรอีกแล้ว I don't need to learn anything anymore. ฉันไม่จำเป็นต้องเรียนรู้อะไรอีกแล้ว I don't need to learn anything anymore. I don't think that they don't need to learn anything anymore. I think they have to learn a lot. Seriously. ฉันไม่ต้องการคำแนะนำจากคุณ I don't need your advice. ฉันไม่ต้องการคำแนะนำจากคุณ I don't need your advice. Whether the advice is good or bad, like for me, I strongly believe that you just listen to it first. If it's useful, then you make use of it. If it doesn't, then just ignore. Like you don't have to say like I don't need your advice. That's not nice. มันยากไป อย่าคิดจะลองเลย It's too hard. Don't even try. มันยากไป อย่าคิดจะลองเลย It's too hard. Don't even try. Even though people say it, just do it. Just ignore all the bad comments, you know. เราทำแบบนั้นไม่ได้ We can't do that. เราทำแบบนั้นไม่ได้ We can't do that. Don't say this to yourself. If you can't do it, just try to do it. You have to try if you want to do something. แค่ทำตามที่ฉันบอก Just do what I say. แค่ทำตามที่ฉันบอก Just do what I say. People who use this sentence, maybe a bit too bossy, so they just want people to follow what they are doing. Don't think, just do what I say. But for me, I think it's fine. Sometimes you just want to do what other people say. Okay, done. Okay, guys, we are done for today. Thank you for watching. Today we have done 9 phrases that make you look like a fool. I hope you have fun today. If you do, please don't forget to subscribe our channel. And see you next time. Bye-bye.
Want to speak real Thai from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at ThaiPod101.com.
Want to speak your target language with confidence and impress native speakers? When learning to speak a new language, you have lots of things to think about, including grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation. Because you're thinking of all of these things and trying to speak, it can be difficult to communicate with confidence, especially in the beginning. This is why it's helpful to make confidence-building exercises part of your language learning process. In this video, you'll learn 7 ways to boost your confidence. 1. Read out loud. This might seem pretty basic, but it's a great way to practice speaking. Reading aloud lets you practice speaking without having to think about grammar or things to talk about. Reading out loud lets you focus on your pronunciation and the rhythm of the language. It can help you learn to speak more smoothly and quickly, without even thinking about it. If you're using our lessons, read the dialogue out loud as you listen. You can read along with the dialogue tool, the lesson notes, or the transcript. 2. Read like a child. This might sound strange, but think about children learning to read. They go slow and sound everything out. Maybe it takes 2 or 3 tries before they read a new word smoothly, and a few more tries before they can read it at a natural pace. This example applies to language learning too. If you find a complex sentence in something you're reading, read it slowly at first, then speed up. With practice, you'll be able to say it easily. It might feel a bit silly to speak very slowly, but this kind of practice can help you identify tough sounds you might miss or say incorrectly when reading quickly. 3. Use the dialogue breakdown tool. If you're using our site, this is a great tool to take advantage of. It breaks down lesson conversations into individual lines. You can listen to the audio for each line, learn what each line means, and can reread and review as much as you want. 4. Use the voice recorder to record and compare yourself with native speakers. Just click on the microphone icon next to each line in the dialogue section. You can use this tool to perfect your pronunciation if you like, but this is also something you can use to work on speaking with confidence at native level speed. You'll find this tool in the dialogue section of all of our lessons. 5. Repeat and review old lesson conversations. Reviewing what you've studied in the past is the best way to make sure you maintain what you've learned. Go back to older lessons, download the lesson dialogue tracks, and re-listen to the conversations again and again. Or you can reread the dialogue lines from previous lessons until you've mastered them all. 6. Shadow conversations. Repeat what you hear out loud. This tactic is important, but it can be tricky when you're doing a brand new lesson. If you're reviewing dialogues from lessons you've done though, it's super easy to do. Just listen to the dialogue and repeat what you hear. Shadowing means mimicking the speaker as soon as they speak, following their intonation and rhythms as closely as possible. 7. Send recordings to your Premium Plus teacher. If you want to speak with confidence, there's no better confidence boost than feedback from a native speaker, and you get just that with a Premium Plus teacher. You can record yourself reciting a lesson dialogue or any dialogue of your own, and your teacher will give you specific tips on how to improve. From the tips your teacher gives you, choose at least one and practice, practice, practice. Being able to react quickly and with confidence in a conversation is typically not something you can do on your first try, but if you continue practicing, you'll gradually find yourself speaking with ease. And for even more ways to build your speaking confidence, check out our complete language learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Get tons of resources to have you speaking in your target language. And if you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye!
Hello, welcome back to Top Words with me, Jay. Today we are learning 10 ways to remember words. Okay, let's begin การอ่านหนังสือเยอะๆโดยการอ่านหนังสือพิมพ์ช่วยให้ฉันจำคำศัพท์ได้ Reading as much as possible, especially the newspaper, helps me to remember words. True. I mean, but it doesn't have to be newspapers. For me, I love reading novels, so by starting from reading something that you like, it's a good way to learn the language and improve your reading skill. ฉันจำคำศัพท์ใหม่ๆโดยโยงกับเรื่องราวเกมหรือภาพยนตร์ I associate new words with stories, games, or movies. For example, the word ไกล or ใกล้ the pronunciation is the same but the intonation are different. So if you just read, you might not be able to remember how it will be used. But if you watch a movie and you see the real situation of how these words are used, then it will be easier for you to remember. ฉันพยายามคิดเป็นภาษาไทยเพื่อที่จะได้มีกระบวนการคิดเป็นภาษาไทยโดยธรรมชาติ I try to think in Thai so it becomes natural to my thought process. I found out that by thinking in English is faster when I want to speak or communicate with people, and it's more natural. Like you don't have to translate back and forth. Don't translate inside here. It won't work. ฉันพยายามพูดกับเจ้าของภาษาให้บ่อยที่สุดเท่าที่ทำได้ I speak as often as possible with native speakers. Not many people learn Thai. So if you try to speak Thai to Thai people, I think they are more willing to talk in Thai back to you because we just love people who want to learn our language. ฉันพยายามใช้คำใหม่ๆในประโยคง่ายๆเพื่อจะได้เรียนรู้ทั้งประโยคไม่ใช่แค่คำใดคำหนึ่ง I try to use the new word in a simple sentence, so I learn whole phrases, not just individual words. For example, what should I give an example on? ฉันรักสุนัขของฉัน I love my dog. Yeah, so love is not visual and you might not be able to remember that love in Thai is รัก by forming a sentence. Now you understand everything as a whole. ฉันพยายามใช้ภาษาที่เรียนอยู่เป็นประจำในชีวิตประจำวัน I try to use the language I'm learning routinely in the context of daily life. One way to help you use it regularly in a daily basis is having a boyfriend or girlfriend using that language. For example, if you're learning Thai, try to find Thai girlfriend, Thai boyfriend, then yeah, it helps. ฉันพูดคำศัพท์ออกมาดังๆเพื่อให้ตัวเองได้ยิน I say words out loud so that I can actually hear them. It helps with your pronunciation, intonation, speaking skill in general, so that when you read or say words or sentences out loud, you hear what has gone wrong with your speaking. So it's a good way to improve your speaking skill. ฉันฟังเพลงและจำเนื้อเพลง I listen to songs and memorize the lyrics. There are a lot of good Thai songs for you to listen. My recommendation would be from this singer called Stamp. I don't know if you have heard. You might try to search on YouTube at Stamp in English, like stamp on a letter. Yeah, Stamp and Thai singer. And I think his song is pretty cool. ฉันหมั่นฝึกฝนทุกวันโดยพูดกับคนในครอบครัวหรือสุนัขที่บ้านถึงแม้ทุกคนจะฟังไม่รู้เรื่องก็ตาม I am persistent in practicing every day by talking to my family or my dogs even though they don't understand me. Desperate to have to talk to a dog, but Yeah, sometimes I talk to my dog as well. I guess it's normal จำคำศัพท์โดยใช้ flashcard remembering words by using flashcards I think it's pretty convenient because it's small and on train or on a bus you can just flip them over and remember words while you're traveling. Thank you for listening. Today we have done 10 ways to remember words. So are you able to remember every sentence I taught you so far? If you don't, then you can watch the video from the start. Anyway, thank you for watching and please don't forget to subscribe. See you next time. Bye.
Want to speed up your language learning? Take your very first lesson with us. You'll start speaking in minutes and master real conversations. Sign up for your free lifetime account. Just click the link in the description.